In the annals of history, few figures have left as indelible a mark as Napoleon Bonaparte. Born on the island of Corsica, this military genius and political visionary would rise from obscurity to become one of the most powerful leaders in European history. His meteoric ascent, strategic brilliance, and enduring legacy continue to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike. Join us as we delve into the extraordinary life of Napoleon Bonaparte, from his humble beginnings to his final days on the remote island of St. Helena. Napoleon Bonaparte was born on August 15, 1769 in Ajaccio, Corsica, a Mediterranean island that had recently been acquired by France. His family, of minor Italian nobility, was not wealthy, but they were determined to provide their children with the best education possible. Young Napoleon was sent to military school in mainland France, where he excelled in mathematics and history. After graduating from the École Militaire in Paris, Napoleon was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the artillery. His early career was marked by a keen intellect and a deep understanding of military strategy. He quickly gained the respect of his superiors and was promoted to captain by the age of 24. In 1793, Napoleon's strategic prowess was put to the test during the siege of Toulon. The city, a crucial naval base, had been seized by royalist rebels and British forces. Napoleon, then a young artillery officer, played a pivotal role in recapturing the city. His innovative use of artillery and his ability to inspire his troops earned him national recognition and a promotion to brigadier general. On October 5, 1795, known as 13 Vendémiaire in the French Republican calendar, Napoleon saved the French government from a royalist insurrection. Using cannons to disperse the rebel forces, he demonstrated his unwavering loyalty to the Republic and his exceptional military skills. This decisive action further solidified his reputation as a formidable leader. In 1796, Napoleon was appointed commander of the French army in Italy. His brilliant tactics and relentless pursuit of victory resulted in a series of decisive victories against the Austrian and Sardinian forces. The campaign not only secured France's borders, but also brought Napoleon immense personal fame and wealth. In 1798, Napoleon embarked on a daring expedition to Egypt, aiming to disrupt British trade routes and expand French influence. Despite initial successes, such as the Battle of the Pyramids, the expedition ultimately faltered due to logistical challenges and the destruction of the French fleet at the Battle of the Nile. Nevertheless, the campaign showcased Napoleon's audacity and strategic vision. On November 9, 1799, known as 18 Brumaire in the French Republican calendar, Napoleon staged a coup d'état that overthrew the Directory and established the consulate, with himself as first consul. This marked the beginning of Napoleon's political dominance and his transformation from a military leader to a statesman. As first consul, Napoleon implemented a series of reforms that stabilized France and laid the foundation for his future empire. He centralized the government, established the Bank of France, and introduced the Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive legal system that remains influential to this day. In 1704, Napoleon crowned himself Emperor of the French, marking the beginning of the First French Empire. The coronation, held at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, was a grand affair that symbolized Napoleon's absolute power and his vision for a united Europe under French leadership. The War of the Third Coalition, fought between 1803 and 1806, saw Napoleon face a formidable alliance of European powers, including Britain, Russia, and Austria. Despite being outnumbered, Napoleon's military genius secured decisive victories, most notably at the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, which is often considered his greatest triumph. The War of the Fourth Coalition, fought between 1806 and 1807, saw Napoleon defeat Prussia and Russia in a series of decisive battles. The Treaty of Tilsit, signed in 1807, marked the end of the war and the beginning of a fragile alliance between France and Russia. The treaty also redrew the map of Europe, further expanding Napoleon's empire. The Peninsular War, fought between 1808 and 1814, saw Napoleon's forces invade Spain and Portugal, aiming to enforce the continental system and weaken British influence. Despite initial successes, the war became a costly and protracted conflict that drained French resources. The Congress of Erfurt, held in 1808, was an attempt to maintain the fragile alliance between France and Russia, but tensions remained high. The War of the Fifth Coalition, fought in 1809, saw Napoleon face a renewed alliance of European powers, including Austria and Britain. Despite initial setbacks, Napoleon's military brilliance secured a series of victories, most notably at the Battle of Wagram. The war ended with the Treaty of Schönbrunn, which further expanded Napoleon's empire. Following the War of the Fifth Coalition, Napoleon focused on consolidating his empire. He implemented a series of administrative and legal reforms, established a network of client states, and expanded his family's influence through strategic marriages. However, the seeds of his downfall were already being sown, as his ambition and autocratic rule alienated many of his former allies. In 1812, Napoleon launched his most ambitious and ultimately disastrous campaign, the invasion of Russia. Despite initial successes, the French army was decimated by the harsh Russian winter and relentless guerrilla warfare. The campaign ended in a catastrophic retreat, with Napoleon's Grande Armée reduced to a fraction of its original strength. The War of the Sixth Coalition, fought between 1813 and 1814, saw a resurgent alliance of European powers, including Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Britain, unite against Napoleon. Despite his best efforts, Napoleon was unable to stem the tide of defeat. The war ended with the Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of the Nations, which marked the beginning of the end for Napoleon's empire. In 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate and was exiled to the island of Elba, off the coast of Italy. Despite his defeat, Napoleon remained a charismatic and influential figure, and his exile was marked by intrigue and political maneuvering. During his time on Elba, Napoleon implemented a series of reforms that modernized the island's infrastructure and economy. In 1815, Napoleon escaped from Elba and returned to France, marking the beginning of the 100 Days. He quickly rallied his supporters and re-established his rule, but his return was short-lived. The European powers, alarmed by his resurgence, formed a new coalition to defeat him once and for all. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, marked the final defeat of Napoleon. Despite his best efforts, he was unable to overcome the combined forces of Britain and Prussia. The battle ended with Napoleon's surrender and his second exile, this time to the remote island of St. Helena. Napoleon spent the last 6 years of his life in exile on the island of St. Helena, a remote British outpost in the South Atlantic. Despite his isolation, he remained a figure of fascination and controversy, and his legacy continued to inspire both admiration and criticism. During his time on St. Helena, Napoleon dictated his memoirs, which provide a unique insight into his life and thoughts. Napoleon Bonaparte died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. The cause of his death remains a subject of debate, with theories ranging from stomach cancer to arsenic poisoning. His passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy lived on, inspiring future generations of leaders and thinkers. Napoleon's legacy extends far beyond his military conquests. His administrative and legal reforms, known as the Napoleonic Code, laid the foundation for modern civil law in many countries. He also implemented a series of educational and economic reforms that modernized France and influenced the development of other European nations. The Napoleonic Code, introduced in 1804, was a comprehensive legal system that codified civil law in France. It established principles of equality before the law, freedom of religion, and the right to property. The code had a profound influence on the development of civil law in many countries, and its principles remain relevant to this day. Napoleon Bonaparte's life was a testament to the power of ambition, intellect, and will. From his humble beginnings on the island of Corsica to his meteoric rise as a military genius and political visionary, he left an indelible mark on the course of European history. His legacy, both in his military conquests and his enduring reforms, continues to inspire and challenge us to this day. As we reflect on the life of Napoleon Bonaparte, we are reminded of the enduring power of human achievement and the complex nature of historical legacy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, share, and subscribe for more historical content. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the past.